Right. Hello. Welcome back, my friends. We are here for The Wrong Side of the Wall, Season 3, One Last March. And tonight is Episode 2, It's All in the Cards.
Huzzah.
Cards, not cars. We're not driving this episode, sorry. Not the right time, not the right era for that. And before anything else happens, we're going to do our recap for last week. And Thomas, you have volunteered to do that, so the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Last week, we started our brand new campaign, One Last March. The campaign began with Christian's character, Godwin Glademere, going into the tent of the battalion commander, whose name, unfortunately, I don't recall at the moment. And
Hugh Downer.
Hugh Downer, correct. Not correct. Played by
Sebastian Bruff.
Sebastian Bruff. It started with him going into Sebastian Bruff, the battalion commander's tent, and getting a mission from him to go and scout out a small orc village that is rumored to exist somewhere out in the mountains or the forest, just somewhere generally off camp, but not too far. He's given leave to collect a small team of whoever he would like, as long as it's low numbers, below 5, I think was the number count given. And that led to him going around the camp collecting his motley crew, starting off finding Many, played by Chris, loutish man, dressed in naught but rags, who is clearly prone to violence and enjoys meting out punishment around the camp as necessary. From there, they went and collected Lionel, who is a bit of a hermit that lives on the edge of camp. He is part of the unit, but he tends to stick around the outside and only does as much as is completely necessary of him. From there, they went to the stocks of the camp, and they found their roguish friend, played by Richard, Rian Two Fingers. And after releasing him from his bonds, they set off outside of the camp to try and figure out where this orcish encampment was. They had a quick chat with the guards at the edge of the encampment, and then they left through the forest and found a cave, which they were like to believe was the correct path to find what they were looking for. Meanwhile, while all this was happening, Rick the Brick Corner had actually awoken in said cave and tried to figure out what was going on, why he was in a cave and not the CN Tower, what had happened to him and his friends. He began by making peace, as it were, with some bat creatures. And in making peace, really all he had to do was sit there and do nothing until they were cool with him being a rock there. And then from there, he just kind of explored the cave a little until eventually, as the cave was being explored by both parties, they met up somewhere in the middle, and a bit of a dialogue began. We, the party being Godwin Glademere's party, was very confused as to what Rick was. A man made of rock, some kind of witchcraft, perhaps he was cursed. No one was quite sure what to do, but Godwin decided to try and be friendly and at least take him along through the cave, if nothing else. The party was then attacked by some vicious giant spiders, which they dispatched quite handily, and they moved back through the cave, out a different exit further up the mountain. And upon reaching the outside, further up the mountain, they noticed that there was a large cloud of billowing smoke escaping from where the encampment was. And that about covers the recap for this week, I think.
It does. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Now we know what happened.
Well,
Can you tell us what happened?
I can't tell you what happened
All
to
on
the
your phones.
encampment, but I can tell you what happened to us.
Yes. There you go. All right. Thank you very much, Thomas. So, with that in mind, the 5 of you, 5 plus Fox, Not Fox McCloud, but the Fox Ylvis.
What
find
even
this-
is this anymore?
Find yourselves a Guy Fox. Find yourselves having come out of the cave. You are much higher up than when the four of you entered and found Rick. You're on this same side of the cliff face, like I said, and like I said last week, but you're much higher up now. But you can see, as Thomas described, the smoke and all of that. So you know the camp is under attack, or has been under attack anyways, although its fate is unknown to you at the moment. So, as we open today, obviously, the question on each of your minds, except maybe Rick's, the question on the rest of your minds is, what's happened to the camp? So perhaps all eyes turn to Godwin. Who knows? But
Rick
gentlemen,
also has questions, but
that's true. That's true.
Just not
Probably not
necessarily
what
about
happened to the
camp.
camp. So
It's not
you,
that
you,
question.
you don't know.
it's true, but
Hey, are you guys having a big raging bonfire over there? Party time? What's up?
nice.
And we're all weeping off in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, cool! A stakeout. Oh, nice. They got
Oh, I
ribs.
get it. It's
Everyone's-
LARPing at
everyone's
Burning
crying.
Man. Nice.
Ah, yes, that's what I forgot to mention in the recap.
Now, I wouldn't take it as far as Burning Man.
That's what I forgot to mention in the recap. Rick was very confused
my
about
goodness.
these fantasy dandies coming at him.
Yeah,
He's wondering
yeah.
if this was some kind of LARP sesh.
Yeah.
Rick is just like, this is the worst Burning Man I've ever been to.
Everyone else is real sad.
I haven't even been to any. Oh my god.
No, Rick's a party animal. He's been to all of them.
all of them everywhere.
Haven't been to any.
And
It's
excuse
already
me,
the
it's-
worst.
It's Mr. Party Rock, sir.
Oh, Mr. Party
Not
Rock,
a party
sir.
animal.
The Party Rock anthem.
Party rock.
Yeah, they
is in
wrote
the
that
house
about
now.
Rick.
Anyways, all eyes presumably at this moment turn to the smoke in the distance, and perhaps to Godwin. So, why don't you take it away for us, Godwin? Where do we go from here?
Boys, I believe we should return to our camp and perhaps see what this strange happenstance is.
Return. Suggest that there's something to go back to.
Mm.
You say we abscond then, Many?
Well, I tend to agree with many that perhaps returning at this exact moment isn't wise. Should there be an actual attack on the camp, we would just get caught up in it. The five of us, well, we probably wouldn't be able to turn the tides ourselves. And if an attack didn't happen and there's just a large fire going, the commander would be pretty upset with us for returning early.
Fair point.
It is possible we could find lots of interesting equipment for whatever the next leg of this journey may be. Granted, we didn't have that much back there anyway.
Are you suggesting we pillage our own camp that's potentially been attacked?
No.
Eager
this
for more
is-
gecko, are we?
No, this is commandeering, my friends.
It's your call, Godwin. But we should accomplish something. Whether that be to avenge our fallen comrades, or find this orc encampment.
Say the camp is fine and the fire is nothing. Should we return, we'll be admired for our work. Yes. But say the camp is burned to a crisp, and we do all this and return to nothing. What would we have done but waste our own time and efforts for 2 days?
We would
These
have
orcs
given
still need killing. This is only one small bit of a large army. Even if our camp is gone, there's still someone to report to. Eventually.
On top of that, we would have given whatever enemy awaited at the gates well enough time to clear out before we returned.
Out of character, Nathaniel, would I, as a lieutenant, know where any other camps are currently stationed?
Yeah, you would, but remember that you're deep behind enemy lines, so it's like a week's travel back to Arnvel proper.
Right.
So your intel is useless here.
Do you mean by that his knowledge of where the camps are will all be wrong by the time we got to any of them?
Exactly.
Or that,
They would be like days
they would have
out of
moved.
date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They would have moved, yeah.
Let's go see what the orcs are up to.
Excellent.
Right, pressing on then. Before that happens, though, we do that effect where the water ripple happens. And we soar back to a point in the past. When exactly that point was is not incredibly important, but what is important is the who that's involved. At the moment, the only people present are Lionel, his fox Ylvis, and an older man who is currently sitting at a small wooden table, dealing a deck of cards out to himself. Has been doing so for quite some time. The man dealing out the cards is sheltered inside a small tent, just big enough for 2 fully grown adults to be in. So even the presence of the small fox makes it just that much more uncomfortable. But Lionel's found himself here. Why he's wandered into this tent, maybe it was just he had nothing better to do today, or there was something about the strange sign on the top of the tent that attracted his attention. The sign read, "I know something about you." Nothing more than that. And now Lionel has had a chance to see the man behind him, and it's nothing remarkable. His clothes are worn and in tatters almost, as if one stretch in the wrong direction or one bend down to pick something up would cause them all to rip asunder. And yet he seems content. He seems calm. There's a peace about him that few in this war-torn country could possibly possess. And the old man continues to deal out his cards, not noticing Lionel, and eventually looks up and just gives him a smile. Hello, son. Won't you have a seat?
Lionel takes the chair.
He looks down at the floor. Normally, I wouldn't allow animals in here, but I understand that he is part of you, yes?
That is a way of putting it. Perhaps your sign is more true than one would have first anticipated.
There is more for me to tell, perhaps, and there is more for you to understand. But I must have something. Something that you value. Only to touch, of course, not to take. Your spear.
Lionel gets back up from the chair and retrieves his spear from. He would have leaned it by the door. He wouldn't have brought his weapon fully into this tent.
Right.
And he takes it over the table and he lays it across the table for the man to do with as he will.
He sort of slides his hand along it gently, treating with as much reverence as he can, and he pulls it away. This spear is a weapon, but it hides something nicer than that. Something beloved to you. A possession of a beloved, perhaps. One who is no longer with us.
Seems you have me at a disadvantage. How is it that you know the things you know?
He shrugs. I have always been like this. I have never questioned it before, and I am not going to start now. I was about to be hung for being a spawn of hell until I informed the local prince that his wife was at home cheating on him. As thanks, he allowed me to set up shop here.
Sort of a don't ask, don't tell situation, I suppose.
Indeed. That is
Well,
how many of us who are born with gifts get by in this world.
seems that way. A lot of interesting deals are made when it comes to magics and those with talents or those with status.
You have had an unfortunate brush with magics yourself, Lionel. There is someone you wish was still here who is not.
Yes, the owner of the haft of that spear. It didn't used to be a spear. I'm
Yes.
sure you can tell by the way it's carved that perhaps in another lifetime, the haft of that spear was once a walking stick, belonged to my late wife.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that.
And he now pulls the deck to him and says, there is a word. There is a word related to all this. It comes to me. It begins with a C. Companion it is. Yes. You would know more about this word than I would.
And as soon as he says the word companion,
Mhm.
Lionel just looks over at Ylvis, obviously.
Right. All right. So, Thomas, I invite you now, prompted by the word companion, to share something with us. And you can do this in any way you want. You can continue to speak to the man in a conversation, or you can describe an event or a scene. Up to you.
Still looking at Ylvis, who's probably at this point curled up by the door. Just, big chillin'. Lionel turns back to the man and he says, back after I had just lost my wife, perhaps 6 months to a year. Time was a bit of a blur after that, but I had stepped out into the wilderness, decided that perhaps society wasn't where I needed to be at the time. I was out there licking my wounds when I heard whimpering at the front door of my meager cabin. And upon going out, I found my friend, Ylvis. He was badly injured, presumably some sort of fox hunt that had gone wrong. Impossible to say, but it seemed like the wounds had come from man-made weapons. No way to be sure, though. What with all the terrifying things roaming about the woods these days. That said, I found it kind of funny that this animal had come to my doorstep to lick its wounds right when I was in the middle of licking mine. So I took him in and nursed him back to health. And he's been with me since.
Extraordinary the bond between man and beast is. And I have a feeling that Ylvis here will be of great help to you soon, as you will be to him.
He's already been of great help to me.
It was nice to meet you, Lionel.
You're lucky you've already gotten some sort of royal pardon for your gifts. As I don't recall having told you my name. Truly, you are skilled at what you do.
And you at yours. Good day to you.
And Lionel retrieves his spear from the table, retrieves his fox from the door, and beats a hasty retreat.
And we, as Lionel leaves the tent, we transition back to our group on the mountainside. Lionel snapped out of his reflection on a past event. And as Godwin has ordered, the group begins to proceed across the mountainside. Still going in the direction that Sebastian suggested, that intelligence might have seen or caught a glimpse or caught a rumor of an orc encampment. So ever onwards. And here, I introduce you to one of the esoteric moves that are listed in the Dungeon World Core Book, which is called Undertake a Perilous Journey, which will be used sort of to abstract our journey across the mountainside here. So, it says, when you travel through hostile territory, choose one member of the party to act as trailblazer, one to scout ahead, and one to be quartermaster. Each character with a job to do will roll wisdom. So I'll just explain what each job is supposed to do before anyone decides what they're doing. So on a 10 plus, the quartermaster reduces the number of rations required by 1. The trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination. And the scout will spot any trouble quick enough to let you get the drop on it. On a 7 and 9, each role performs their job as expected. The normal amount of rations are consumed, the journey takes about as long as expected. So basically, if you get a 7 and 9, the journey goes fine. But if you get a 10 plus, you get some bonus to the journey. So yeah. There's 5 of you, so 2 of you don't need to take on a job. But one of you needs to designate yourself as quartermaster, one as scout, and one as trailblazer.
Are we
Designate ourselves, or is Godvin choosing?
Same question.
Yeah.
And
So
is Rick included in this?
Rick can be included in it if he wants to be. So why don't you decide that in character? So Godvin, you're aware that those are kind of the things that need to be done as you proceed on this journey. That'll take like a day or so. So you guys can discuss who might be best suited for it.
What are the titles?
Quartermaster,
Scout.
trailblazer, scout.
Right. I believe the obvious choice as our scout would be Lionel. It only makes sense. Meanwhile, our trailblazer, that is Rian's job. As for quartermaster, I'll take on the responsibility.
Okay.
What do you say to that, gentlemen?
What?
Acceptable.
Rick, worry not. We'll take care of everything. You just follow our lead. Specifically, my lead.
I still don't have clothing.
We'll get you there. Don't you worry.
Godvin as quartermaster would be responsible for that. I'm sure he'll be happy to extend you something.
Also, legit, you're taking this quite well.
Taking
what?
what?
Giant rock dude. Granted, I've never seen giant spiders before.
It is a strange world we live in, Rick. Truly
Yeah, what
strange.
the fuck?
It is a terrible affliction you have.
But hardly the most terrible we've seen.
As for clothing, and he removes his cloak and hands it. It's a beautiful green cloak. Actually, it goes quite well with the color of your stones.
Ooh.
Oh, like,
His upper stones are lower stones.
Yeah, exactly.
wait. Is
Cover
that
my
a
dreams?
is that a cape?
It is indeed a cloak, yes.
And
Thankfully, it's
for
quite a long
for-
cloak, so if you turn it horizontally, perhaps you could wrap it around your waist.
for a split second at the sound of a yes, it's a cape, you see a little sparkle gem in Rick's eyes. And he ties it around his neck and like
God damn
stands
it.
there proud with the wind flying behind it.
Donald Ducking over here.
Rick, I must say, it looks much better on you than it does on me.
Thank you. I always wanted cape.
Yes,
But-
it really accentuates your chiseled jaw.
The problem with capes in my world is airplanes.
I'm sorry, what?
Things that fly in the sky, and if you have a cape, you could get sucked into the things that make them go.
Dragons.
A bird.
Bat wings.
And then you die.
A
Giant
bird will
bat
kill you.
wings.
It's a pretty big deal. So not a
I
lot
did
of
say they
people
were
wear
giant.
capes.
Yes, we have something similar, I suppose, in our world then.
Okay. So why do you wear capes then?
Oh,
We don't tend
Yeah.
to spend much time up in the sky ourselves.
that is the domain of birds.
It helps keep
And
the
dragons.
road dust off of us.
And giant bat wings.
Oh, fun fact, if I put enough energy into it, I can jump really high and far.
Perhaps he should be the trailblazer.
It won't help us if he blazes a trail through the sky if we can't follow him.
Are you trying to get out of your work, Rian?
He could punch a hole
What
through the forest and make
is
a
a trail
clear
blazer?
path.
Lionel sidles over to Rian and whispers quietly in his ear, "If you're really lucky, while you're blazing the trail, perhaps you'll find some pockets to pick quietly."
I do continue to volunteer to be the trailblazer.
Good lad.
So do we set fire to the trail?
Let us do so. Enough standing around. man.
Not literally. Please do not light any fires in the forest.
I suppose we could.
I got you there. That was a joke.
You are a strange one, Rick.
Oof, even
Yes,
the GM wasn't sure. No, I was kidding.
Certainly are different types of jokes in your world, I suppose.
Mm.
I think we already made the comment about his sense of humor being left behind.
When we start talking about forest fires, Ylvis starts like curling up and shivering a little. Clearly worried.
All right, so if I could have my three gentlemen roll. Lionel, if I remember correctly, you have an ability. Yeah, there we go. When you're going to take a perilous journey through wilderness, whatever job you take, you see it as if you rolled a 10. Okay. So you took scout. Okay, so then if I could have Richard and Christian please roll wisdom. That would be awesome.
Wow, it's almost like he couldn't miss.
So, Godwin gets an 8.
Hacks.
Sorry, which one am I rolling?
Wisdom.
That's going to work out.
Yeah,
I can
maybe.
tell just by your hesitation.
I was gonna say maybe I can push for Dex because I'm
Nope.
fast.
Wisdom.
Roll it.
That's a 7.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you made it. All right, cool.
You don't suck. Hooray.
Okay. So quartermaster, regular number of rations are consumed, so don't worry about that. It would have only been a thing if you had totally missed or gotten a 10, so don't worry about that right now. Trailblazer, yeah, takes as long as expected, so I will say the journey across the mountain face to the next sort of change in terrain takes almost a full day. So, like, you're marching for like 12 hours, basically.
But presumably, since he got a 10 plus style result, it's a smooth and relatively easy path.
So Lionel was scouting, and the scout was looking for
okay.
trouble, spotting for enemies, or that kind of thing.
Does he
Trailblazer
find
was
them?
determining the time. So your time takes a normal amount, about 12 hours. And Lionel and Ylvis scout ahead, and manage to end getting a 10 plus. You carve out the perfect path to keep the group safe and sheltered. So what I mean is, like, you make sure that you find places where you're undercover, so things overhead can't see you. You make sure that you're never like in a little valley where you could get ambushed from either side. So Lionel manages to lead the group in such a way that you're able to keep fully aware at all times and away from dangerous creatures that might lurk in these areas. So good job. Nobody died in session 2. Not yet.
Yay.
I was going to say we barely
This is
started.
still kind of the start, yeah.
Okay, but every session of Wrong Side of the Wall that nobody dies is a good day.
What's this about butts?
For the next bit of this session, we have to roleplay what it would be like to get there.
And yeah, so for the next 12 hours, guys, I want you to walk in a circle. No,
Thankfully,
instead,
I have this treadmill behind me. I'll just see how far my mic can reach.
instead, as you were marching, we once again flash back, as this time, Many recounts a memory from his past.
Are there many of them?
And Many, again, when
Although
this
there
happens,
are
isn't-
many, this time there shall be only one.
Only one. Well, two, actually, because, like I said, while the when is irrelevant, the who is very important, and the who is you, and one other person. You've wandered into a cave. There is a torrential pour outside, and while you were walking for a while, you decided to tuck into a cave to wait out the worst of it before proceeding.
Mhm.
And when you went into this cave, you realized very quickly that you were not alone. On the other side of the cave wall, sort of hunched over, he's in sort of like a woolen, like poncho kind of thing. So it's just like a one piece. He's got around his neck, and it's just draped down over his body. And he's got like a little bowl and oh boy, what's that stone thing that's used to like knead spices?
A mortar and
That's his
pestle?
special.
Mortar,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. It looks like he's grounding like a herb or a leaf or something. Or in this pot. And he pays no mind to you for a moment, and then eventually looks up at you and says, "Traveler from afar, this is not your place. You have wandered away from your people, but perhaps not by choice.
Wandered. Too soft a word. Like all this land. Wet. Moldering. Weak. And you, old man, what do you know of me?
I know many things, if you will give me a chance. I will need something that belongs to you, though. Something that is precious. The satchel you carry, perhaps.
You may not have it.
I do not want it, only to touch it.
And what is in it for me?
Enlightenment, perhaps? Release? I do not know. Only you will know what is in it for you.
I do not desire release. There are few things that I need. Release is not amongst them. Vengeance, perhaps.
Someone has wronged you, then.
Very well, old man. You think that you have something of value to me. I shall have it. Go, touch my satchel. But do no else, or else I will take your hand.
Very good. And he gets up, and it's obvious that he is lame in one leg, so he sort of hobbles over to you. Fate has dealt me an interesting hand. The body is weak, but the mind sees things that it shouldn't. And he sort of just brushes along it.
You are not the first such magic man with which I have been acquainted. The first ruined my life. If you do similar, you can expect the same sort of punishment I met out to him all those years ago.
Therein lies in this satchel a sort of paradox, Many. There is a ceremony of great importance to you, and yet it bears many negative memories. Why have you not gotten rid of such a document? It must tear at you emotionally.
You speak as a wetlander does. Weak. There is no emotion here. There is what must be. Prophecy cannot be tossed lightly aside.
Yes, someone spoke over you. And those words were heeded, and now you are here, alone.
You speak the obvious. I have no time for this.
Very well, the unobvious then. There is one person alone you blame for this. An adversary. Is that correct?
One. No. I blame many. But there was one instigator, perhaps.
Okay, Chris. On the trigger of adversary, I invite you to do as I did with Thomas. You may continue your conversation with this gentleman, or you may describe a scene related to it. Up to you.
Let us return to a time many years back and look at a young boy, already tall, long-limbed, with the promise of much strength to come. He's maybe 11, 12 years old, taller than most his age, broader in the chest, but thin, lean. Looks like one who has worked hard and long under the open sky, not as a farmer does, bent-backed and sun-baked neck, but like a hunter, bare to the waist, his limbs tanned, his skin still smooth, despite the many predations of the natural elements. You can see the salt stain in the hair, its tangled weave, but that hair is being cut for the first time in his life because it's part of entering into being a man. There are many rituals in this boy's tribe. When it comes time to go from boy to man, he gained his first tattoo. His tattoos, of course, are not as the wetlanders practice, but out here they etch them with a knife edge and place the ink into the wound. He gains, of course, his first haircut. And later today, he will gain his name. For 12 years, he has had a child's name, but he takes on his new name today. After, sorry, just a moment. Sorry. Bob says hi.
Hey, Bob.
Bob's sighted. Hi, Bob.
After the various celebrations that are involved, of course, there's a feast, and the animal, a tiger, that this child had killed, is roasted alongside many pigs and some cattle. Although they don't raise them themselves, there are villages nearby that the tribe is not hesitant to borrow from on occasion. And, of course, there's the ever-present threat of bears, and the tribe is also not hesitant to thin their numbers a little. All of this flesh goes down the few child's throats who are all coming to their manhood this day. There is a number amongst them who are excited and eager, and others who are scared. But amongst them, two have striven against one another in all things for a long time. The child who we were speaking of previously, and the son of the chief of the tribe. He too is a strong, strapping young fellow who looks like he is more than ready to move into a position of power, not because he's suited to it, but simply because he's looking forward to exercising that power. And this young tribe's chief's son has recognized a rival and already formulated as one well steeped in the politics of his clan a plan for eliminating that rival. It was a long journey, many days away to find a seer. In this world, finding men of magic only happens one of two ways.
Right.
Either you find someone who has sequestered themselves away carefully from witch hunters, or you are burned to a crisp by somebody who is realizing their terrible power for the first time. In this case, the seer was known to the various tribes of this area, and from time to time did them favors in return for food and shelter. The tribe chief's son came to him and asked him for a prophecy of power for the chief's son, a prophecy that would prove to all that he was greater than his rival. The seer told him he could only tell what the future actually held. There was no way to make the future anything but what it would be. But he would come and tell the truth if that would satisfy. And the tribe chief's son decided that that was better than nothing. At the very least, the prestige of having summoned the seer to his side would be something. And after the feast was over, the seer stepped forward. The various tribesmen all tightened their hands to their weapons, or to their mead horns, depending on what was closest at hand. Because the seer was known to speak words of power that always came true. And although many people are eager to hear the future, people are seldom pleased to meet it. And the tribe chief's son stood forward expecting that now the seer at least would have something to say over him, whatever that truth might be. And he expected nothing less than blessing and a certainty of a powerful future. But the seer looked past the tribe chief's son and over to the other boy, the one who had just received his first haircut and his first etched tattoo. The one with a promise of strength not yet met, but who all looked to for great things. And he spoke words of terror over him, of ruin. That this boy held in his hands the doom of many, and that many would fall, and many would die. And so the boy was named, and so the boy was cast out.
The old man in the cave looks at you. This is not where you belong, but soon you will encounter some that you belong with. Your destiny, your fulfillment is close. But be warned, many, that a path of vengeance never ends in happiness.
I don't desire happiness. Again, you speak like a wetlander. Weak. There is so much more than happiness. When you feel the warm blood between your fingers and crush your enemy's heart in your hands, then speak to me of happiness. I know what it feels like.
I see the rain has died down a little bit more. Surely you will want to continue on your journey.
Kicking me out of your cave, Wiseman. Very well. I didn't like the stench in here anyways.
I would say farewell, but it may be wasted words.
It's always a waste. Your well wishes mean nothing. Only my will shall change the future. And then he leaves.
Excellent. That was enrapturing, Chris. Thank you so much. Fantastic.
We got to make Chris start going last on these.
Yeah. That was so good. We come back.
You guys have to follow up Chris, and I don't.
Yeah, we all quit now.
Oh boy, yeah.
We'll catch you guys later.
Okay, peace out. Send the episode. We come back to the journey across the mountainside as Manny comes back from the past to the present. And Lionel, you have determined, so this is at the very end of the journey now, so, 12 hours have passed. And Lionel, you have realized two things. Number one, might be wise to rest for an hour or so. That's probably all you can afford to rest for because there's lots of things that live in this area and most of them are not friendly. But it might be wise to rest here for a little bit. And number two is that proceeding along the mountain face any further will be impossible with a group of this size. So the best... and I'll give you a chance to tell this to Godwin in character, but the best path forward would actually be to go down the mountain face now and proceed through the wetlands below. It would only be a short amount of time, and then you could detour back up onto the mountain face.
Okay. Any sign at all of orc-related activity whatsoever yet?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Lionel gives the standard whistle to stop, and he heads back to the group. He would have been,
Oh, actually, before you continue, I will say one thing. If you recall from last session, Rick heard water from outside, so it actually rained the previous day. So I will actually amend that answer by saying there might have been, but if there was, the rain has washed it away.
It's all mud now, baby.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So Lionel gives the standard whistle to stop and then makes his way back to where the party should be in relation to him.
Yeah.
And on finding them, he heads over to Godwin.
Yes, Lionel.
All right, Godwin. It would seem that based on the mountain paths ahead, that we won't make headway as a group this size. My recommendation, should we wish to proceed forward, would be to head down the mountain face through the wetlands, and then we should be able to head back up on a switchback not too long.
You're suggesting we scale the mountain?
Well, hopefully we can find a path down that isn't too taxing. A lot of the grades here aren't quite as steep as on the opposite face of the mountain, but simply put, unless we plan to turn back, we're really not going to get anywhere. So I would also propose we take a bit of a rest before we attempt that. We don't have too much time with the fauna around here, but...
Godwin clasps you on the shoulder. You know best.
Perhaps you should consider consulting with our rockman. Although he has not shown much interest in this silt, perhaps he could assist us with finding a path that even Lionel's keen eyes cannot.
And Lionel turns to Rick. Do you have some sort of ability to mete out paths in rock, either by making them yourself or by finding them?
Oh, hey, you talking to me?
Of course, Rick. To you. You are the
Can you-
stone man himself.
Can you repeat what you just said? I was lost in thought. Not really, but in character he was.
Understandable. It's been an interesting day for you, to be sure. Do you have some sort of ability to commune with rocks? Might you be able to mete out a path for us that doesn't involve scaling half a mountain, or?
Maybe? I could try something if you give me time.
Well, we were about to take a bit of a break anyways, by Godwin's leave. So,
Oh, I guess you are all looking kind of winded. That was a rock pun.
Was it?
Perhaps it plays differently in your language, Rick.
Yes.
Anyways, take
Rick,
your
we'll
break.
We'll give you some time. Meanwhile, we'll rest our weary legs. And should you discover anything or make any headway, please let me know immediately.
Okay.
It is truly greatly appreciated that you are assisting us in this.
Sure.
May God be on your side.
He says
Rick.
nothing.
All right, Rick. So, what do you do?
Well, out of character, you may start understanding that Rick doesn't know how to make a joke.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. No, I got that.
what do you mean? These have all been knee slappers, brother. Veritable gut busters.
My sides are still hurting.
So,
because when I was thinking of that, I'm like, oh, wind can erode rocks, and it's a rock pun, and I'm like, that's a stupid
That's
joke. I'm gonna have to say it.
yeah.
Rick is really funny, but it's you only get it if you're a rock man.
Yeah, you only get it if you've been a rock person before.
That's right. It's a very
Oh my
specific
God.
crowd.
He's thinking 3 or 4 layers of bedrock deep.
The thing
That's
is,
right.
it plays really well in the group chat.
Okay. So what I would like to do, I would want to do my commune with giant hard surfaces. I mean rocks.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And so, like, obviously I can absorb material to kind of heal myself and basically let me keep going, and I can also use this kind of sensing ability as I do that, and just in general in order to sense kind of like my surroundings of it. So I'm wondering if there would be a way that either A, I could find an ulterior path that wouldn't take too much work, or B, I could just make one.
Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to roll your move bend bars, lift gates.
Let me take a look. Hey guys, by the way, I can bend bars and lift gates. How do you know?
Oh, yeah.
I heard that as bed bars, and I was very confused for a second.
Bed bugs and lift mates.
Bed bugs,
Bed bugs and lift weights.
Bed bugs and Postmates.
Yeah, there we go. Use pure strength to destroy an inanimate obstacle. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Let's choose 3, choose 2, choose none. Ooh, okay. Okay. Do I get any bonuses to this or no?
No.
Okay.
I think it's just a strength thing.
You
I
get
just
+2 in
roll
rock.
that move. Yeah, there we go.
8.
Nice.
Choose 2.
Mhm.
Let's see. Nothing
So
of value
this is you carving the path down so everyone can get down into the wetlands. So. That's why I
Oh,
had you roll
it was
this.
more so creating a path to not go into the wetlands, to get around it. Choose option 3.
That is beyond your powers, but you can definitely get the group down safely. So.
Damn it! Then I knock off the top of the mountain and take it with me.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Just slap that right down on top of the wetlands. There you
Yeah. Bam.
New melee
easy.
weapon.
Hey, look, new mountain.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Okay, so I want to do nothing of value is damaged, aka the people.
Yep.
So and then I could choose
Things
one
were
more.
valuable.
Well, I didn't say it doesn't say broken. It just says damaged. So you can still be broken. You just can't be damaged.
Fair.
That's right.
Like if you're damaged goods, I can't sell you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. If you're broken psychologically, he can help you. But
So we do have
It's
some
not
time to
making any
do
worse.
this. So I'm not going to pick that one. I don't really know what's around here, so I don't think it makes a lot of noise. I think that's the second one. I don't think this maneuver would make a lot of noise if I were to do it.
All right. So it is quiet, and you can guarantee the safety of your fellow compatriots as they travel.
Which are my rock friends.
That's right.
Yes, the
Oh,
resident...
Oh, you guys thought you meant me? You guys thought I meant you guys?
Yeah. The resident...
damn.
You're dead. You're dead.
The resonant frequency of these mountain rocks and the rocks you're made of actually cancel each other out. And every time you punch them, it's completely silent.
Oh shit.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Dickle Rick. I don't know. Maybe Rick is an asshole. His jokes don't go anywhere.
Anyways, while the rest of the squishy humans are less squishy,
Squishy.
are resting,
So,
which remember yields no HP, so don't up your HP. Because I'm being mean. And you might be like,
level up,
but
right?
Nathaniel, in the book, it says you can rest and gain HP. Yeah, well, I'm saying you can't do that.
Oh,
He's saying tough shit. I'm God. Suck it.
What about with Godvin though, hanging out here? Like
That's fine.
he's obviously going to be going around with the bandages.
Godvin has a method of healing if he wishes to use it. Otherwise, there is
Ooh.
no healing for you.
Oh, that sounds like if he wishes to use it, but that would suck.
Well, up to you. Up to you, Christian. This is an opportunity for Godwin to heal those who might be injured at the moment, but including yourself. But
That is true.
I'll leave it up to your choice.
Yeah,
They are covered in
it's
spider
taking,
guts. So probably have taken a big blow to their.
Their
As I
egos are probably
their
injured.
ego.
As I recall, Godvin took some gnarly poison damage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Might need to give himself a little pat.
That is a
down.
good point. While we're
I'm
resting,
completely unscathed.
while we're resting, perhaps I'm singing a song to my comrades and using an ability to do so.
What does that look like visually when the magic activates? What would it look like to someone who's observing you?
Those who've known Godwin for a long time have seen him spin a yarn or sing a song and have noted the light of the smoke trail that leaves the pendant on his neck.
Right.
Glows brighter and smokes harder. The smoke sort of enrapturing around his head.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And,
were just
and
smoked
leaving
harder.
and sort of trailing along his arm off his fingertips and towards the people he directs it to.
Right. When you say smoke, are we talking like, does it look like a campfire has been put out, or is there a color to it?
It is light. It is light, but it's not firelight. It is like starlight. It is bright and white and
okay.
brilliant.
Interesting. Okay, like white like a hot star. Interesting. Okay. Then go ahead and make the roll.
Okay. Nathaniel, regarding that, I'm trying to do here Healing Song, which uses arcane art.
Yeah, so arcane art is what you want to roll.
Okay, cool.
Got a 9. Very good.
It's actually upside down 6, so you get experience.
Oh, sick.
Nice. All right, so your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention or your master for a Okay, so obviously you're healing. I assumed that, and then healing cell lets you heal an additional plus 1d8. Or you heal the 1d8. So, because normally you don't heal someone else. Okay, so, however, your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention, or your magic reverberates to other targets, affecting them as well. GM's choice. Okay. Well, I will let you know I will let you know the consequences of that in a moment, but I would like you to roll a d8, please. Yes. You get a 5. Okay, everyone, including Godvin, may heal up to 5 HP. I say up
Like a
to because
10
obviously
hit
if you have
points?
less than
Wow.
obviously if you I was going to say if you
Yeah.
have less than 5 damage, then you just heal up to your max.
Question.
Overheal?
So there's no overheal. Yes.
Got a couple of questions with this. A, does it
Mhm.
affect me? And B, would Godvin know this when he does it?
Yeah. Okay. So the great questions. I guess I'll answer them out of character, and just Rick will know. Okay. So the answer to your first question is it does affect you in that you feel there's like a sensation, like there's almost a shake through you.
Almost
you're
like
not-
I feel harder than I've ever been.
I didn't. You said that, not me. You feel the sensation of something happening, but because you're uninjured, you don't feel any different. It's just like a weird, like, oh, that tickles. But no, Godvin would not be aware. I mean, that's up to Godvin to decide, but I don't know that he's necessarily
Okay.
thinking about you, right?
Well, I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
if he would, when he uses his magic, if he has the sense to understand
Mhm.
what it impacts and what it doesn't. You know?
Right. There's no visible effect to anyone it affects. Only the visible effect to him.
Okay.
So, other than obviously, oh, I feel better now. So, but it's not like, oh, the people Godvin heals start shining or something like that. The effect is purely contained around his person.
Got it.
So,
Damn
but
shiny.
good question.
But it's just the firelight reflecting off the spider guts.
Yes. So, anyway, so like I said, everyone who might be injured can heal up to 5 HP thanks to Godvin there. So, and I will let you know what the repercussions of your roll of 9 there are eventually. So,
Ominous.
There was a random NPC that witnessed your murder.
Yeah.
And now you have to go kill them before they go tell the sheriff.
that's right.
Standard.
1,000
you
goblins
violated the
descend
law.
upon you. So, okay. And then by the time all of you have had a chance to rest and eat and get a bit healed, Rick has managed to carve a very classy, like, little staircase or whatever down the side of the mountain towards the wetlands. I say staircase. I mean, Rick, you can decide what it looks like, but it's safe to go down on. Like it's
a giant slide.
Yeah, brother.
Very
Nice.
well.
It's a
Very
spiral slide.
Spiral slide.
Ooh,
Yeah,
spiral
there we go.
slide, the nicest.
Like one of those rides that you go on the thing and you just go down the mountain and you have to use your brakes, but nobody ever does.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's right. Yeah,
Of course
Yeah.
you
not.
just hit a full.
I even fashioned little tiny rock carts for everybody.
Oh wow.
Wow.
hmm
So
It's basically
know.
just a flat piece of rock, just curved up, and they have to slide down and hopefully not die.
right, yeah. So don't know if anyone knows what a rock cart would look like in the Middle Ages, but I leave it up to the characters when they do that. Anyways, let's assume everyone had an amazing time sliding down Rick Corner Slide.
Good luck getting back up.
It was just the best, so fun. And now you're at the bottom.
Cowabunga.
I have some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is the water of the wetlands has washed away what's left of the spider guts that were on you. The bad news is the marshland smell, and so the smell of spider guts has been replaced by the smell of, like,
Rotting
Dead.
things.
Fart.
rotting plants. So,
Smelled
and
like fart.
possibly corpses. So, it's medieval times, Kirk. Pretty much everything is dependent with and hopefully not die. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Going to drink this water and
Yeah.
to eat this food that I hope has been salted sufficiently to
I'm gonna
keep it
lie
from
down in
rotting.
bed.
ooh.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave my house today. So all 5 of you have made it down Rick's super fun, awesome slide, TM. And you're now in the wetlands. Back into your regular marching order, which, if you'll remind me, Lionel's and actually just tell me what your marching order going through the wetlands would be, rather than me assuming.
I am out of my comfort zone here because all I knew kind of was the cave.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't be leading the pack anymore.
How open are these wetlands? Is there like a lot of trees, or is it pretty much like flat, plain?
So you're in the valley in between 2 mountains. So it's not open like you're out in a vast, like, flat plains or something like that. There are trees,
Okay, so
but they're smaller wilted trees.
right. But
yeah.
it would still
There's
be
foliage.
it would still be beneficial to have me like slightly ahead of the group as a scout. There's
say
no
so.
point in, yeah, okay.
I
So
would
then
say
I
so.
would be doing that unless Godvin wants me to stay. So
No, that's very good.
Yeah. I assumed Lionel would be in the front. I was more asking where everyone else was in relation to that.
Directly behind God.
Okay?
I'm probably in the middle somewhere.
Okay. So then does that put Minnie at the back, or is Rian at the back because Godvin's closer to that side?
Yeah, I think Manny would be at the rear.
Okay. Great. Okay. That's good enough for me. Thank you very much. You continue to slosh through the wetlands. And very quickly, the change in elevation and also the change in environment has not gone unnoticed. It's we haven't really talked about what time of year it is, but it's spring, so it's sort of like March, April. Haha. Didn't even think about that until I just said that. It's not March, April, so it's sort of like the end of winter. Things are thawing. It's not quite warm yet, but there's no snow anymore. So, I say that because somewhere like this is probably more flooded than it might normally be, because all of the ice is melted, snow is melted, and off of the cliffs, and it's all sort of wandered into here. It's all pooled here. So there are a vast majority of your travel here, you're at like waist height water. So when I say sloshing through, you really are like sloshing through. Like you're up to your waist pretty much the whole time. There's a few places where it gets a bit shallow and maybe falls to your thighs. But yeah, it's pretty much waist height the whole time. So, can Ylvis swim, Lionel?
I mean, yeah, he's probably gonna try and ride on my shoulders,
Okay.
try and avoid the water.
I legitimately don't know if foxes are swimmers or not.
Oh yeah, they can
No.
swim.
Yeah. Okay.
But
You know who can't swim?
He's gonna try and avoid it if he can, though.
Okay. Right.
See, who can't swim is Rick.
Yes. You sink like a rock.
He does the data thing from
Fortunately, he also
Yeah.
doesn't need to breathe, as far as I'm aware. So
Just keeps walking along the bottom until he hits the shore.
Was he a
Yeah.
good
Hey, not gonna
swimmer
lie, that-
before?
yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's is that from Insurrection that he does that? Anyways. Data, I mean, not Rick.
I was gonna say, yeah, I remember Rick in Star Trek.
I remember,
Rick in
yeah.
Star Trek
That's
Insurrection. Remember that part where the rock guy shows up and fights Picard? Okay.
He was in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. In Galaxy Quest, that's right.
And a Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't think Rock.
Actually, the one in Galaxy Quest was Rick's cousin.
Oh, okay.
You know, is Rick's cousin accidentally got a drop of blood on him from Rick's rock blood and became a rock person too.
Oh, okay. So this is a She-Hulk scenario.
She-Rock.
So you become a rock person if you get blood from a stone?
Huh. I thought you couldn't squeeze blood from a stone. Huh. So,
You can
anyways.
do anything with a philosopher's stone,
Mm.
except talk philosophy. It doesn't do that.
False advertising.
Your
Wow,
slosh-
called derailment. Wow, damn. Sorry.
Your slosh through the wetlands continues until Ylvis perks his ears up on your back, Lionel, and starts to sniff. And although he notices it before you do, and I'm telling you because, like you said, you're slightly ahead of the rest of the group. And although he notices it before you do, you start to pay attention as well. Could you discern realities for me, please?
Absolutely.
Which, remember, is our default perception.
Still a little too grand for what it
Oh,
really
dear.
is. But
You cannot discern any answers.
You cannot discern reality.
Oh,
Sorry.
but I get experience points.
You do mark an experience point. though.
Yeah.
I have no freaking clue what's going on.
But you don't know if that experience point is real or not.
That is so unfortunate because my bonus isn't terrible.
Thomas, do you want to take the experience? Because I could see if I can roll to assist because I'm supposed to be blazing the trail.
That is up to Nathaniel's judgment. I would say.
Yeah, in this context, Rian, you wouldn't even know what to assist him with
Sure
because
thing.
Lionel's not even sure what he's noticed yet. So, or in this case, not noticed.
How about some assistance from Yelvis?
Nothing's there. What
So-
are you talking about?
He could at least be paying attention to which
Yeah.
direction Yelvis is pointing his nose.
Wait a minute. That's right. Yilvis is trained in scouting, and I believe whenever
Take that
your
experience
animal
point
companion
away.
is doing something that he's trained in, you get to add something to your roll, right?
This
see.
is remember, Thomas.
Oh,
you
yes,
had to know
I
your
did.
stuff.
I know that's my bad. The Yilvis
Yeah.
block is a little weird, so I haven't
Yeah.
looked at it as much as I should have.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
I
bad.
did choose that he has keen senses,
Yeah.
so that might help here.
What is his cunning score?
His cunning score
It's his own
is
page.
Yeah, he has his own
+2.
stats. +2. So you actually got an 8 then. You actually got an 8 on that.
Ah,
That rocks, actually.
No experience for you.
Okay,
Take
so-
that.
Yeah, so don't mark experience.
I already
But-
took it off.
Okay. And instead, you can
Instead
ask me,
succeed.
I believe, 2 questions from the list?
Let me check what it is. On a 7 to 9, ask one question. from
One
the
question. Okay, so go ahead and ask me one question from that list.
list. What should I be on the lookout for?
Okay. Lionel, you after a moment, you realize what Yilvis was perking his ears out. There are several people. You believe they're people because you're noticing shapes in the water and you can see just the tops of scalps. There's about half a dozen people moving towards you. They've obviously crouched down so that they're in the water, and they're obviously very good at this. But they're slowly moving. So there's 3 to a side, and they're trying to flank the group as they sort of walk underneath the water.
All right.
But you've noticed a bit of ripple in the waters and such.
All right. Noticing that they're trying to flank us, I don't even bother with any pretense. I shout back to the group. There is a party that are hiding underneath the water. They're trying to flank us. Everyone on your guard.
As Lionel shouts that, the 6 figures pop out, and they're basically in the medieval version of a ghillie suit. Like they've dressed themselves in leaves and foliage, things that you would find floating in the water, right? Like bits of vines and whatever, to try to make themselves as least notable. All of their heads have been completely shaved bald. Again, helped by the water, it sort of glimmers and it sort of runs smooth. And all of them are quite pale, like they haven't seen the sun for a long time. They're wetlands vampires now. And all of them carry very rudimentary spears, very obviously like bits of metal that they've tacked on to like bark they've stripped from a tree. And they all sort of pop up and obviously knowing that they've been made. And they do sort of just hold position, raising their spears sort of in front of them towards the group of you. And like I said, there's 3 on either side. They're definitely human, but they're, like I said, sort of been, what's the word I'm looking for? Enraptured by the environment that they found themselves in. So like I said, they're quite pale. They're completely covered in foliage. And you get the sense that even with them having popped up, that there's still some height that they're hiding. They're not fully stretched out. Like they're still a bit hunched over. So you get the sense that they're pretty tall. Not quite as tall as many, but taller than the average guy.
Are they as wide as Rick, though?
No. They are definitely just human width.
Wow.
So, they're obviously also spend a lot of time running and hunting and all of that. They're not necessarily ripped or anything, but they're very, very slender and athletic. So
They got runners' bodies.
and yeah, exactly. And like I said, as they pop up, they bring their spears up defensively and then just hold perfectly still.
As he's calling that, I am going to invoke my ability called Shoot First. I don't ever get caught by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So when as he's shouting that, I guess I would also sort of be aware, and I would just draw my bow and knock an arrow
nice.
preemptively.
Okay. Do you let it fly? Or
No,
are
I'm
you just
holding
holding it? Yeah,
but
that's why I asked if
so
you're
that
ready to fly. Yeah.
they know. Oh, they got caught, and this dude's ready. Okay, like maybe that'll do something. So
Yeah.
I figured to hold it.
Yeah. So again, whoever noticing the arrow, they're holding their spears rather tentatively, like they're holding the shafts pretty close to their chests. They got them out. I would say it's pretty obvious to all of you that they're holding them defensively. They don't have them in a position where they could like toss them like a javelin. Like they've just held them out in front of them, like you would maybe if you were trying to keep an animal back. And they're just they're eyeing the bow, they're eyeing Lionel, they're eyeing the fox, they're eyeing all of you, and they're just sort of
Outside
trying
of
to hold still.
the possibility of them throwing the spears, even though it doesn't look like they're going to, do I note any ranged weapons? None of them have bows, yeah?
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
How do they react to seeing me? And also, am I above water or not?
You're a bit shorter than everyone else. You're still above water. You know, it's like
It was only waist height.
it was waist height.
Okay.
So yeah.
I was
you're above
wondering if
water.
I actually heard Lionel or not. I'm like,
No.
what? I'm
Yeah, so
underwater.
you're probably like up to low chest.
Everybody
Okay.
be wary.
Stomach height on you, kind of thing. But yeah, you're definitely above water. And if they've noticed you, they're not reacting to any of you. They're just holding perfectly still and kind of
Just
just
a bunch
like
of floating rocks with eyes. Yeah.
their eyes are just kind of darting back and forth across everybody. They're not necessarily doing anything in particular to anyone.
Cool.
Also, and at this point, if the group has stopped moving, they might not even realize that you're anything but a rock in the water. So,
Who somebody's drawn eyes on? Yeah, okay.
yeah, like I don't know, right? Again, if they've never seen something like you, they don't have any context for it. So,
Have
They don't
we
know.
ever
Maybe
seen
this-
something like them? Do we recognize who these people might be or what they might be allied with?
Those of you who might have spent, and you can decide this in character, those of you who might have spent a decent amount of time in and around wetlands would recognize them as the Bagrassi. I'll spell that here.
Grassy Junior High.
Boo Grassy.
Just like
Bagrassi.
They're a tribe. There are multiple branches of them, but they're sort of unified by several common languages and whatever. But they're a tribe that sort of has made the swamp lands in this area their home. So they're very xenophobic. They only attack when provoked, and there's lots of people who have never seen them, even those who might live near wetlands. So.
Lionel being the closest. Normally he would leave this to Godwin, but since he's the closest, he's just going to shout out to them. State your business, wetlanders. We have no outward quarrel with you.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to make a parley roll?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
If we want to continue the dialogue, Godwin can do that.
All right. Again, they, as you say it, their eyes flick to you quickly, and then they return to just looking around.
Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to actually press that.
So,
Finally, Many loses his patience with the whole standoff, puts his
Are you gonna
hand
do it?
to his
Okay.
massive blade, and looks at them. If you all come at me at once, maybe I won't be bored. I'd like to trigger what are you waiting for?
guess chance there.
Hold that. Please.
We'll see if Godwin gets in.
Is this the type of universe where you have to say what your secret power is while you activate it?
That's
This
right.
isn't Hunter
Have
Hunter.
to shout it out loud. Laser blast!
Watch out for my laser.
That's right. Rian pulled out his bow and yelled, "Shoot first!"
Mhm.
A gun.
Yeah.
So, before Manny can do anything, Godwin puts a hand on his shoulder. Hold that,
Reach up.
Manny. Wetlanders, please. We just mean to pass through. And now I will activate Parlay.
Hey, oh, whoa. Twins.
Another 9. I was going to say, I'll accept the 9. But
No big
you
deal.
took fate into your own hands there.
And now you have no choice but to accept the 9.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say,
He gave
I
you
was
a
gonna say no worries,
disadvantage.
Christian. But there you go. It was meant to be.
As Godwin would say, it was God's will.
Yes.
This again.
All right, we'll see how this resolves. If it doesn't resolve well, then I will allow Many to resolve his. What are you waiting for? Okay, so you've called out to them. So you got a 9. So let me just read this. Sorry, they ask you something to do it if you make them a promise, but they need concrete assurance of your promise right now. Okay. So the one who is in the middle of the trio on the left-hand side, he takes one very tentative step forward and lowers his spear so that the tip of the metal is in the water.
Godwin motions to Rian to do the same, sort of lower his knocked arrow.
I say, if this does get us killed, it's not my fault. And he lowers his bow.
Many hasn't taken his hand off his sword, but he's waiting.
Godwin still has his hand on his shoulder.
You are human. You bear the marks of Arnvel, but you smell of death.
Actually, the swamp smells like death.
The stones, it talks.
Wait,
This is the
where?
least of the magical things that we have encountered. Really. This is a fool's errand that you're on. Get out of our way.
We did not realize what we were dealing with. Clearly you command even the stones. We are only in the way here. If you promise to stay on this path and not to tear to the left or right, we will not bother you, O Great One.
Good. Yes.
We will be watching, though.
We
And
accept
they look tentatively at Rick, and although maybe that was supposed to be a threat, it comes out sort of wavery and fearful. Go well. Stick to the main path, or the waters might overcome you. And beware some of the creatures. Very, very well. We leave now. And they step back
Okay,
just a bit,
bye.
and they lower themselves back into the water, and sort of bob away.
Wait, Bob's here?
Cowards.
May God be with you. I hope they heard that.
It is better that they go rather than stay. They don't seem to have anything interesting on them.
Besides this ever-present stink.
Yes, it's not pleasant, is it?
Let's
Let's
move on.
continue, yes.
I just
All right.
realized mentally that Rick is in the water, but the cape is probably floating right on top of the water behind him, pulling all of the gross along with him like a net.
My poor cape.
You poor cape. Rick's gonna get to the other side of the whales. Great, it's ruined now. I just finally got a
brand
cape.
new cape.
Oh, just a second. Let me pull.
I just
through
got
that
it
and
dry
see.
cleaned, man.
Yeah. Godwin, where's your dry cleaner? I gotta explain what dry cleaners is.
Well, ironically, it's not even dry. It's a chemical process.
All right.
Don't worry,
and we
Rick.
all-
It's strip dry.
And we all make our silly little cape jokes right into our break. It is 9:08. I will see everyone back at 9:18.
See
Till
you
then.
then.
See you then.
Bye.
Nice. All right, and we are back. As the group continues to slosh their way through the wetlands, we are transitioning ourselves back into the past once again. This time, a pair of figures are moving their way through a busy marketplace. A bunch of open stalls and people desperately selling their terrible junk and trinkets and days-old food to anyone passing by. But Godwin and Rian aren't interested in that at the moment. Instead, they've been attracted, for whatever reason, to a small stall on one side of the market. And maybe it's because it's the only place they found where someone isn't shouting at the top of their lungs to buy their junk bead necklace or whatever.
When did we? Sorry to cut you off. When did we get to a market?
Where we
Flashback.
Transitioning to the past.
Oh, sorry.
Back to the
I
past
was like,
Samurai Jack.
wait, there's a market in a swamp?
No, this is a
Okay.
flashback. Okay.
Okay, I'm so
Just a
sorry.
really
Yeah,
neat market.
Yep, you should be.
We met
Submerged.
up with Beetle.
Anyways, in this flashback, which I said,
I missed that part. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. The two of you are attracted to this booth, maybe because it's the only one without someone desperately shouting to sell their junk at you. And instead, there's just a small old woman. She's pretty much all bone, from what you can tell. Who knows when the last time she actually ate anything was. But you feel like all you really need to do is breathe real hard and she'd probably fall over. And she's not in a tent per se, but she's got sort of a booth set up, and then she's sort of pulled like a piece of fabric over top of a frame, just to give herself on her side of the stall a little bit of shelter if it was to rain or get cold. And she's got like a little, almost like a Chinese checkerboard. Obviously, your characters wouldn't recognize it as that, but it's a little board with little marbles on it. And she's just sort of playing with one of the marbles, just sort of rolling it between one finger. And as the two of you come forward, good evening, gentlemen. Looking for something? Or is something looking for you?
Well, if anything, it seems like that something is yourself.
Yes, you are correct. For now, anyways, you were seeking me. All of life is searching and finding. And for now, you have found me, and I have found the two of you. There are things to discuss, yes? But I only see one client at a time. You. And the frail lady points at Rian. I will speak with you first. You, Scoot.
Fine.
I won't go anywhere until she's finished and you come back, I guess.
And as soon as the lady is satisfied that Godwin is out of earshot, he is special to you, yes?
That is but an understatement, my lady. This man has given me everything.
Traveling with him is not enough. You carry something of his, yes?
Of course, I carry his word. I carry his companionship. I carry his memory, his thought in my mind. I carry plenty of him with me, correct?
She gives you a sly smile. Something perhaps more tangible?
A quick flit over to a pouch in his bag happens, but you blink and you miss it. You would hardly ever see, but it is a quick in and out kind of action just to make sure that it's still there.
Right.
I guess you would have seen through that completely. You are, I guess, a seer.
Perhaps. But do not say that word too loudly here, boy. There are many who would kill someone such as me.
Let us hope that it does not come to that from our own business at some point.
So what is this item? And more importantly, why do you have it?
Well, do you need to see it?
No, I have already seen it, and I already know why you have it. But do you know why you have it?
Do I know why I have a lock of Godwin's hair in my bag right now? Yes,
nods.
of course I know exactly why I have it. Don't be daft. I took it from him while he was sleeping. But why did I do it? He looks troubled and puzzled deeply, something that he's probably been wondering for the longest time. Possibly that's something that you could tell me.
Yes, yes. There is a word that comes to mind when I look into your face. You have gained something. You were less at one point, and you have gained something. Or perhaps someone. Yes, this is obvious, I think, to anyone. Don't need to be a seer to see that. But knowing more about that will explain why you have taken this thing, young man. And Richard, as I have offered to Thomas and Chris, you may either continue your conversation with her as we learn about this keyword gain, or you can tell us about a scene. Your choice.
Sure, I can transition back into an early memory, a thought. It is never easy when you're being branded a thief. But when the urge to have, to hold, has never been really able to be ridden from your fingertips, I guess that makes you more doomed from the start. To make yours. If whatever catches your eye isn't put into pockets, then it will disappear, and you'll never have another chance. And that is simply not acceptable. The life that we must choose to live is undoubtedly a hard one. Either you must be working under the crown, throwing yourself at the next command sent your way, and likely into much danger and conflict in the process, or you're into farming, livestock, animal husbandry, toil, work, sweat. And the third option, of course, is to simply starve and perish, which never lends itself to be much of an option at all. And it requires sustenance, and you can go out and get it yourself by coin or by crook. But when the coin you've earned and all that you have to your name disappears into the endless struggle for survival, then there must only truly be one way to survive, to live, and to be alive, especially when you can't quell the trembling in your fingertips, the need to have, to hold. So in order to change your life and your world, you must bend the rules to suit yourself. You don't know why you do it. You truly don't. But you know why it comes so easy for you. You take and slink away without a second thought because the first one is just to survive. And then, when it became easy, it became more and more difficult to curb the appeal of pickpocketry and the roguish arts. The curse wormed its way into your mind and choked out any other rational thought. And now the compulsion to take, to have, is all that leads you. In their eyes, you're not a person. You barely even have your own name. But you are a lowlife, a sponge, a leech on the society that you grew up in, that changes and shifts, attempting to make something of itself despite and around your own efforts. And you are nothing. Nothing but a thief. And it is by no fault of your own that you have become this way. But then, miraculously, on what may have been one of the considerably lowest points of your meager and pathetic existence, a ray of light is cast in your direction. And the shadows part way to bring only what you appears to you as the hope of the world, addressing you, the scum and the filth of the town, as if you were not but a king. And you lock eyes with another set, brimming with fire and passion and life. And you also wish to have eyes like this. You learn that people with gifts like yours have an exceptional place next to exceptional people. Your deft and dexterous hands can be an asset. Will be an asset. Will change the world for the better. And while the mission to eradicate witches and magic from the world by the good grace of God may not mean much to you, it was the grace of Godvin that changed the rest of your life, that gave meaning and cause to your idle hands. And it was never easy being branded a thief. But if life, you've learned, was not a challenge, then you truly would not feel alive. Godvin was the man who gave you your life. And this is why you have no choice but to follow him.
Nice. That was excellent, Richard. Thank you. The lady stares up at you as you sort of lose yourself in thought. Rian, dubbed Two Fingers by some. Know this, that sometimes when you clench your fist tightly enough, that is when things slip by you the easiest. Be careful how strongly you grasp onto things. Now, I have said all I want to you. Bring your friend back.
Rian kind of just looks dumbstruck at the 1-2 punch of absorbing these early memories and hearing that, well, maybe don't cling too tight to those you claim to be the most precious to you. And he stands there for a moment before almost snapping back out of a trance. And for once, if anybody knows who he is, for once they would have seen him dumbstruck and unable to respond. And all he can really do is give a quick nod. And you see his hand reach back towards the pouch in his bag as he leaves you to go and call for Godvin.
Sure. All right, and we transition back to the present, as Rian has finished his recollection of the past. And the five of you have made your way further along the swamp. You're almost at the point where Lionel believes the group can proceed back up to the mountainside and continue the search for the orc encampment. So you've come back to the edge of the water. You're still sloshing. So all of you are kind of waist high. Kirk, as we discussed, Rick's a little bit shorter. So, but it's not that much shorter. You know, you're at like, I don't know, ab height, not carb ab height. So, but it's slosh. The good news is that you have not encountered any more of those tribesmen. They have stuck true to your word, as you have stuck true to yours, as you have continued to make your way along this little bog, terrible of terrible stench. For those of you who have noses. Actually, can Rick smell? I don't know if we've ever discussed that.
Rick
I
smells
have
good.
no
We've
idea.
already established.
I have no
Rick-
idea.
It just smells like rocks. Maybe a little mossy.
The way Rick smells rocks.
Nice. As the five of you continue sloshing and kind of can see, okay, so there, you can kind of start to see, oh, okay, another 20 minutes and I can see a little path that we could maybe follow up or whatever. There's a rumbling and two big splashes on either side. And then there's a sudden whoosh as two very large things sort of dart through the water and emerge nearby. They are two massive crocodile creatures. I say crocodile creatures. They're two massive crocodiles. They bare their teeth and then they lunge. And Godwin?
This didn't say two massive crocodile things.
Yes, yeah.
That would have been me.
I don't know. I don't know if this counts, but as I did last time, I have shoot first,
Yeah.
and I cannot be surprised, and I get to act first when they get the drop on us.
So, oh yes, sure. They haven't ambushed you so much as like you were very aware of them. They were splooshing and splashing. So it was more about the fact that they were very fast.
Does the roll affect how successful you are at shooting first?
I never get caught by surprise.
I assume he doesn't get caught by surprise,
Oh.
and that's his attack roll.
Oh wait a minute,
Would
hold
be
on.
my guess.
Let me
No,
just look
probably
at it.
not. There's no bonus there.
No, I don't have anything else. That's all that was in the book.
Yeah. So he's hitting the roll button, but Richard doesn't need to. It's just that's the only way you can share the
actual
text
stuff.
part.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
don't worry about the 6. It's just that he's showing me in the text of "You're never caught by surprise" whenever you got trouble, you get attacked. First
Aw,
instead.
no XP. Darn.
So in this case, actually, Richard, I'm going to let you go first.
Cool.
But you must pass the puck to Godwin when you are finished.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Then, as that happens, I am going to. Hold on. What is? I think volley is. No, volley is that one. What's the
Volley is shooting an arrow.
Yeah, volley's
I don't
ranged
have
attack.
something. Did Thomas have something that was shoot multiple people at once?
Yes,
Or-
Lionel.
okay,
Yes,
then
Lionel has.
That's that one. I imagined volley as a number of arrows for some reason.
Volley's
then I
the
will-
basic ranged attack.
Then I'll just knock an arrow and shoot at whichever one is. You said they're on.
There's
either
one on
side
the
of
left,
us?
one on the right.
Yeah, I'll shoot the one on the left,
Okay.
or I'll try to
please-
shoot the one on the left.
Please roll volley.
That's a 9.
It's a 9. Okay. So you're going to deal your damage. So I need you to choose one from the list there.
I have to move to get the shot.
Okay.
I have to take what you can get for 1 damage. I have to take several shots, reducing ammo by 1. I'll reduce my ammo by 1.
Okay. So please do so, and then roll your damage.
Sure thing. So just switch that over there.
Man, if only you guys were just a giant rock person.
So.
You would never
that
have to worry
correct?
about ammo.
Nathaniel.
Yep. You rolled a d8, and you got an 8. Very nice.
Max damage.
Awesome. That's max damage. Whew. Okay. Wow. Let me think a second. Oh wow.
Wow.
Sorry, which one were you going for? The left one, right?
The one on the left, correct.
Right. Okay. You managed to get him right in the eye. The arrow flies in, and the creature lets out a terrible roar as dark red blood seeps from the wound. It's obviously gone into his skull and maybe even hit part of his noggin. His noggin. Obviously, it's his noggin. I mean, his
his
brain
noggin.
or whatever. Little pink fleshy chunks are pouring down. He's bleeding from multiple orifices. The creature lets out a horrible rage as he swipes his claws left and right, splashing all about and throwing the terrible smelling water into the air. The other crocodile roars in kind as if aggravated at the injury to his friend. All right, and like I said, Rian, you pass the puck to Godwin. So Godwin, your
this
call.
Beastie down.
Your call. You may now act, or you can choose someone else to act. Since Richard basically got like a surprise round there.
Now, does that put me back? Sorry for clarification. Does that put me back in the rotation, or is this like?
No, you like jumped the line.
It's not like cyberspace actions in.
On the next turn, on the next round, you'll go at any given point outside of it, not first.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Having known Rian for such a long time and knowing the sounds of him readying his arrow to fly, Godwin gets ready the same and lets loose an arrow.
Okay. On the same crocodile?
On the same crocodile.
Okay. Please roll volley for me.
Sir.
Okay, it's a 7. So same thing. Please select one from the list.
I will take the first choice.
You have to move to get the shot, place your danger the GM's choice. Okay. So you will get your shot in the left crocodile, but the right crocodile is going to get a swipe at your back.
Sounds good.
So go ahead and roll your damage, please.
The damage. How do I? Oh, here.
Got a 5. Very nice.
Excellent. And I get damage too, right?
And then I'm going to roll to hit you. Yes. And he packs a punch. So I apologize in advance.
Yes, that's good. It's fine.
Okay, 3 plus 3. So that's 6. That's 6 damage to you, Godwin.
I did more damage to it.
So. Yes, but the crocodile maybe is more armored than Godwin is. So. Your arrow sails sort of into the crocodile's jaw, hits him sort of in the fleshy bit between teeth, basically breaking the jaw on that side. The creature is on death's door, but it's not felled just yet. You don't remember that. And Godwin, please pass the puck. We have many, Rick, and Lionel.
Yes, the puck goes straight to Many.
Okay, Many.
Many has a thin smile on his face as he sees the creatures rear up. And he takes out his weapon, and he finds the one closest to him, whether that's the more damaged one or not, and hack and slashes, rather.
You can get to either one. The one on the left is like blow on it and it's dead. The right one is completely uninjured.
Then he wants the right one.
Okay. Which one's that?
The starboard one, Nathaniel.
The correct one, yes. Okay, so you deal your damage, and then I will make an attack against you.
All right. Where is my... Oh, yes, here we go. Oop.
Okay.
I'm going to take advantage of that forceful tag to push the crocodile back off its balance and back a step from me and the rest of the party.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you remembered about the forceful thing. Okay, so...
So rather than really bring the edge in on the crocodile, I use the vast two-handed sword more like a bat and smack the crocodile under the head and force it back and up as well.
Right. Yes, exactly. So you do it is a flesh wound. You do some damage across the croc's upper torso as he sort of falls back. He falls back into the water, making a big splash as he sort of ends up on his side. And he's sort of finding his bearings as you finish the sweep across with your blade. Please pass the puck.
I will pass the puck.
Oh wait, no,
sorry.
I have to. The
Yeah, you
crocodile does need to
have to try and hurt me.
riposte.
Hurt
So.
me.
Ooh, that's 7 plus 3. That's 10 to you.
All right, I take advantage of what is it
No,
called?
Nathaniel,
Indestructible hunger, and ignore it.
He
Okay.
pushed him away.
They're happening simultaneously. So, happening two spaces. They're happening simultaneously. Okay, understood. And okay, excellent. The blow then simply dings off your manly pecs. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, it misses you.
No,
You
like the
imagine it
first
dings
one.
off your manly pecs, though.
The claws
So.
go through you, but all the way? You're a ghost.
Yeah.
Mm.
You've been
Wait,
a ghost
what?
all along.
All right, Manny, please pass the puck. Lionel or Rick?
Let's head it off to Lionel.
Okay. So,
Well,
Lionel,
right.
we have at the moment a crocodile on death's door, and one that is still looking okay, but has been sort of knocked onto its side.
Hey, I will use my blot out the sun ability, which is basically use volley, and I can spend extra ammo before rolling. And for each extra ammo, I can choose an extra target.
Gotcha.
So I will spend 1 ammo to shoot them both.
Okay. So 1 volley roll, please. It's an 8. Excellent. Okay. So please choose from the list.
We'll produce a second ammo.
Understood. All right. So that's a -2 overall, and now you can roll your damage. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I think do you roll damage separately, or does
No,
the rule
it is.
say
It
just one?
says very specifically roll once and apply damage to all targets.
Gotcha. Okay. Your blow is but a grazing shot on the crocodile on the right-hand side. It sort of just like sweeps across his back and takes a little bit of skin with it. However, your arrow on the left-hand crocodile lands right between the eyes, or his left eye and what's left of his right eye. The creature lets out one final desperate snarl before falling back into the water dead. All right,
Cool.
And by process of elimination,
I do just want to answer Richard's question in the chat here real quick. I believe if I ask, Ylvis can have an attack. In this case, I'm not sending him to fight crocodiles in a lake.
What?
So what happens is if Lionel is in a situation that lines up with something that Ylvis is trained in, Lionel gets to add Ylvis's stat to the roll.
Oh, it's
that.
Yeah. So Ylvis does not attack by himself, but if he was fighting something that he was trained to fight, I'll just reveal this. This is in the player's handbook. It's not a huge spoiler. But all animal companions for rangers are trained to fight humanoids. So, for example, if this was a humanoid battle, Ylvis would get to add his ferocity stat, I think, to Lionel's damage.
And then you just abstract that like,
Well,
Ylvis bit
crocodiles-
his ankle or something.
Exactly.
Well, I have to say, crocodiles do have 4 limbs, a head, and a body.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dog.
Pretty humanoid.
Not in the right shape. So.
I mean, it's not a huge. Well, if you want to give me an arrow back, he is trained in hunt, so that +2 would actually put me up to 10.
Oh.
We'll talk about it next time. We won't worry about it retroactively.
Yeah, not this time. Anyways, by proclamation, the turn is yours, Rick. So the left-hand crocodile is dead, but the right-hand crocodile is looking fine. But he, like I said, Manny has knocked him sort of onto his side. So.
Well, I guess I gotta go hit a crocodile now. This is weird as fuck. Alright. And then I kind of trudge up. Thankfully, the crocodile's waiting its turn. So I have time to get there.
Wait, crocodile, hold on. Okay, and there we go.
Are they like on land right now, or are they in the water?
So he's fallen. They were in the water, like you all in
Okay.
this waist height water. So he's fallen back in the water. So the creature is large enough that even on its side, like it's out of the water a little bit.
I see.
Like these are
okay.
not regular sized crocodiles. These are giant crocodiles. Like we're talking like like Volkswagen size here. So
That's it. Damn.
so
A beetle or a giant?
well,
Fun
no,
fact: there's actually crocodiles in the world that can actually grow quite large.
oh yeah, absolutely. So like most reptiles, they don't actually stop growing. So as long as they get sufficient food and all of that, they can just be huge.
But these
Enormous.
ones are better.
That's
Fun
why our
fact.
noses never stop growing because we have 0.5% reptile DNA, guys.
It's true. I'm a
I
reptoid.
have 99% banana DNA, but you don't see me bragging about it.
Fun fact: crocodiles are just lizards that grew real big.
That,
Oh, damn.
that's why Richard's so appealing. He's got that banana DNA. Okay. Anyways.
That's also why I'm
Yeah, that-
moldy and spotted.
That joke was pretty ripe for the taking.
Ooh.
It hit the.
Yellow belly.
Okay, well, I want to basically grapple the crocodile by closing its mouth.
Huh,
And then
yeah,
I
an
basically
old-fashioned-
want to lift it up and slam it back on the water and give it a belly flop.
Right. The old sumo grab.
Let's see if suplex this thing.
No, I want to like lift it up and swing it back down, give it a big ass belly flop because it's gonna hurt like hell.
Mm.
Because if you've ever done a belly flop in the water, you know it hurts.
It's true. I just want you to make a hack and slash roll, please.
Okay.
These crocodiles may
you know,
never have had that happen.
You know, I had to flavor it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
You're an unarmed fighter, right? So you get all the like the judo moves, right? So-
I pick crocs up, I put them down.
Oh dear.
Hey, I missed. Yay, XP!
You
Woohoo.
get to mark XP.
Woohoo!
Okay.
What happens on a miss?
He picks you up and puts you down.
He gets to attack you, and you don't get to attack it at all. So.
Okay, cool.
So as you go to grab him, the crocodile proves slipperier than you were expecting it to be. And he gives a swing of his mighty tail, which manages to catch like your head as you leaned over to grab him. Not forceful enough to knock you back because you are made of rock, but maybe to hurt. We'll see how he rolls.
Okay. I was hoping he would bite down on my arm, and then I could really use that next round.
Gain some
So-
leverage.
Luckily, he's being played by me, and I'm smart.
You got another body right across the river there, Kirk, that you can swing at him.
Because Many knocked him on his back, he's not able to use the full force of his body, so I will not add the +3 to this roll. It'll just be the straight D8. So it's a 5.
Oh no, that hurts so bad. Oh, guys, I'm dying.
So
I feel like this is
Kirk,
not
you can-
true.
Kirk, you can tell us, does Rick have like 99 health?
Close.
no, but he's got high armor.
Wow.
So
Okay, so in characters, Rick is like, "Ow, that really hurt."
okay.
God, this is the first time Rick has ever felt pain.
No. Yeah, as the crocodile tail like chips one rock on your skull or whatever.
I don't even budge.
So, well, you don't
Guys,
budge. I did say that. You don't
Guys,
move.
I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling things again. You're
Yeah.
feeling things?
This is very weird. I'm blaming your LARPing session.
I think I just peed in the water, guys. I haven't had to pee in 10 years. That's so weird.
I don't even know how to do it anymore. So,
Where do you aim?
so mitigate a little damage, and then by the end of the round, quote unquote, the crocodile manages to get back onto its legs. So, all right, we're at the top of the round, and Godwin, the choice is yours either to act first or tell me who acts first.
I will defer to Rick again.
Okay.
Rick again.
Rick
Like you did
again.
last summer.
Part 2, the sequel. All right, well, Rick, you have the first action of round 2.
Yeah, didn't see that coming, did you?
Rick
Oh.
2 with a vengeance.
Okay, crocodile. You know, I gotta show you what real pain feels like because you kind of made me kind of polish there. So I'm just gonna double my fist and smash him. Rick smash.
Rick went from apologizing to the spider to be like, I got to show you what real pain feels.
This is the first time he's felt pain in a decade,
So-
Nathaniel. This is nuts for him.
So
Maybe that was a joke of his again. You know, his humor is really shit. So
yeah. No, I got
pretty
see
dry.
that one. I got that Rick was being facetious. It's like, oh my god, I'm so in pain because the rest of the group
it's
would know.
it's like a soccer
Like a-
player. Like,
yeah.
oh, my knee. Oh,
Right.
I need to give him a
right.
penalty.
rolling around in the
God, he's
water.
probably
Yeah.
ended my career. Walks away.
Yeah, he's fine.
We're
yeah.
getting back up 2 seconds later. Bitch.
Yeah, that runs around.
Haha, put me back on, coach.
I'm
Okay.
good, man. I'm good now.
So yeah, I'm just gonna double fist this alligator.
Pardon me?
Phrasing.
Wow.
Clip that. Go ahead and okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, yep. Go ahead and you deal your damage, please. And he will get a swipe back at you.
Okay, so okay, so I get that. Hold on. Okay, so +1, right? Okay, so I have piercing 2.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Piercing.
Gotta love piercing.
You gotta roll damage first before we know what piercing does.
Well, it
Hmm.
goes through two armor.
Hmm.
It's signature weapon, Nathan.
Oh, okay.
Page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's so many moves. Okay, there we go.
Your signature weapon is fist.
It
is.
actually is.
Yeah, that makes
Rock
sense.
fist.
Okay, yeah. So I've already included the +1. And then from
Oh, yes. I
the
see that. Okay.
Merciless, I get the +D4. So, okay, here we go.
Jesus.
Pierce is
Nice.
2.
So you rolled a 7 on the D10, you got a 4 on the D4, plus you get the 1. Yeah, okay. As Rick
Laying the
mightily double fists the crocodile. Oh boy.
Where exactly does he double fist?
Through his skull, I imagine, because
Oh,
the heads come
wow.
up to bite him.
Kinky.
So I'm gonna have the crocodile roll damage, and then I'll describe. So he gets to swipe in on you as you close in on him. So D8 plus 3. So that is 10. That is 10 to you. The crocodile gets a surprisingly, because I know how much armor you have. The crocodile gets a surprisingly good chunk of Rick's center torso. A few of the rocks that make up it scatter into the air and plop bloop, 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 into the water around him, leaving a little bit of a gaping hole in the torso. But Rick is much too focused on the damage that he is about to deal to this crocodile, and his fists go towards the crocodile and in the crocodile and through the crocodile.
Nice.
The crocodile's skull collapses and guts and blood fly in every direction. As what's left of the crocodile's head and the rest of his body slump into the water and bob to the surface. He is dead. Dead. Super dead.
Godwin, this takes care of lunch for weeks.
I agree. By the heavens, Rick.
Well. Very nice.
You've made a friend in many, obviously.
Turns out you know how to kill just fine, Rick Corner. Despite all your protests.
How
Also,
are we
you
all?
are muted.
I was muted to open my bubbly, and I didn't realize I was muted.
How are we all doing after this fight? Is anyone hurt?
I believe I am fully fine, unscathed.
Oh, yeah, that didn't hurt at all. Meanwhile, you just see this gaping hole in Rick's chest.
Right. Yes, exactly. There's a bit of a chip in his head, and there's a big hole in his chest from where the crocodile took out a few rocks. So
Ooh, that looks. Does that hurt, Rick?
Does what hurt? What
Where did he?
did I get? Did I get hit? I couldn't tell.
Yes.
Where?
It smacked you clean across. Can you not feel?
Oh, that's what that was. Oh, I thought it was just a tickle fight.
You're a strange living set of rocks, Rick Corner.
And then Rick looks down. Oh shit! That hasn't happened in a while.
We'll
Is there
have
a way
to
to-
find you another mountain.
Yes. Let's find you a way to patch that up, I suppose.
I'll figure out something.
Let's get out of this stinking swamp at least.
Yes, what a strange swamp we're in. Onward!
Onward indeed. And,
Minnie grabs one of the crocodile corpses and rips off a limb.
Nice.
I'm going to need something to eat later.
Nice. And one crocodile meat.
Spoils of war for the barbecue.
Lionel walks over to Rick and says, I don't know how energy works for you, but should you feel you have enough energy, it would be really great for us if you could take one of those crocodiles with us. Perhaps I could quarter it once we reach some semblance of land and we could actually get some rations out of it.
Do you want me to tenderize it along the way? You know, because alligator meat's quite rough sometimes.
This is a crocodile, not an alligator.
Oh, you have both here too. Okay, I always confuse them.
I mean, if that's something you want to do, I mean, I'm already asking a favor of you by asking you to, slog one of these along for us. So whatever feels right for you, my friend.
I can either drag it and then it collects extra seasoning, or I could smack it occasionally and slightly tenderize it.
Fair enough. I mean, it's already been stewing in the bog water. I don't even know if it's going to be edible, but
we're going to have
certainly can't find out here.
We're going to have to take the skin off anyway. It should be fine underneath.
Oh, you know what? I could use this as a hat. And then Rick takes the alligator crocodile, lifts it up, puts it on his head, and then carries it like one of those people that carry the baskets all the time on their head without hands.
Right. Like the people who gave water back. Okay. Well, the good news is you have a crocodile on your head. The bad news is you look ridiculous. -50 to charisma.
That's okay. I've already taken so many hits to charisma. It's not even funny. I'm probably dead in D&D already. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Lack of personality, guys. You die.
Right.
He goes below
So
0
flat.
and loops back up to 255.
Just like
That's
Gandhi.
Yeah. Now he's got a dirty cape and a crocodile on his head. What a guy! What a fashionista here.
He really knows what it's at.
Making a statement.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm halfway down in the water.
Yeah, exactly.
So all you see is this crocodile just floating along the water, slightly above it.
There's not much to show, but damn, he wears it well.
All the merry musings are interrupted by another flashback. We go back into the mind. We go into the mind this time of Godwin Glademir. And actually pick up immediately after Rian's scene, since the two of them were together. And Rian, you have called Godwin back over to the old lady.
Godwin, the lady would like to see you.
Are you finished already?
It was not a long conversation. We did not need to exchange very many words after all.
Of course not. What is there to say about you?
He just beams at Godwin. She's waiting. Don't keep
yes.
Asia waiting. They
Of
can
course, of
see
course,
if
of
you're going to
course.
be late.
And Godwin approaches the rags of the tent.
Rian, away with you. I only speak with one person at a time.
I promise not to get into trouble. And under his breath as he's leaving, I will see how manageable that actually will be.
And now once she's satisfied Rian's out of earshot, she turns to you, Godwin. An interesting companion you travel with. Or does he travel with you?
We share our travels.
Interesting. Do you also share your burdens?
His burdens are mine to carry.
Mm.
I don't trouble my disciples.
But she points and looks at the amulet around your neck. But there is one burden he does not carry. Is that correct?
You call it a burden. Why?
Surely it has brought you disdain, fear from others, hate from others, in fact. Whether you see that as a burden is irrelevant, but nevertheless, others would view it that way.
Let the public think what they want. At least that's the way I view it.
You are brave. So this trinket of yours has never gotten you into trouble?
Trouble is an interesting word. I don't see it as trouble, never have. But the light isn't always visible.
See.
You have to trust in the light, that it will come back. But you know that, you can see it.
I can see a great many things. I can also see what is not there. There has been loss for you, Godwin. Even if you feel you have gained, there is loss. Am I not correct?
Loss, eh? Loss. No,
And Christian, on that prompting, you may either continue your conversation with her or bring us to another scene. Your choice.
I may not come from rags necessarily, nor riches either. Perhaps, though, you can tell from my manner of speech or my demeanor, it matters not. You and I are children of God, and we are all of us here soldiers of a dying army. My father had a middling status. My mother and father were assistants and nannies to a senator's family. I was quite young, but not a boy, not even yet a man. And that was when father became ill. My mother and sisters cared for him while I found some way to work and provide for us. But in whatever free time I had, I sought someone who could help my father regain his health and his strength. He may have been a mere assistant to the senator, but they had a decent relationship as friends. He wanted to work and be a good aid. However, despite his motivations, no, he simply couldn't put his body through the strain. And so I searched through the town in my free time for a doctor, someone who knew what they were looking at. But nobody would help me for my leftover chump cash. Then I looked for healer, the old maids who knew how to brew a healthy drink or two. An herbalist, perhaps, alas. No No solid answers, and my father only grew more weary. Then I searched the underbelly, that there would have been someone who had hidden their incredible gifts or talents from the light of day to work on those who needed help and couldn't afford it. And just when I thought I would have to give up and watch my father slowly crumple to death in agony, there was a medicine man who told me he knew the answers and could help me. The cost was everything the family had. And with my father sick, I collected our funds and sold a great portion of our belongings, everything. And the man came to our house and made a great effort, a truly great effort. It was like watching a man tear the yarn of our reality apart and sew it and patch it together before my very eyes. Truly great. The man left us after finished, and my father, his condition remained. And that was that. I had sold nearly all of our everything, and nothing had changed. So I searched for more work. I sang in the streets. My poor mother and sisters grew weary and sick from the lack of food. They grew angry and disappointed in what they called my foolish attempts at fixing our household. And then, at its worst point, right at that lowest, messy moment, God found me and he spoke to me through this small forgotten item. I tried to convince my family all would be well from here, but they had already made their choice to rid the house of me. It was to the streets to work and live, sent to the mud and grime to scrounge for life. My father healed a month after the medicine man had come and gone, and a day after I was given the boot. God chose to heal my father through me, or through my absence, more specifically. And it was then that I knew that God would watch over me and my family, my loved one. And perhaps one day, when I rid the world of these damned witches and sorcerers, I can make my way home, and they will once again invite me with open arms.
You may find something waiting for you. Whether the arms are open is not for me to tell you. But I see that you are on a path that will lead to many interesting things. You will
You
soon
can
be
see
put
it.
in a position that you may not favor, but will favor you. I wish you all the best.
You won't tell me what it is, will you?
No.
Good. I like you, Seer.
Hmm.
Farewell.
You have farewell. Farewell, Godwin. May your heart lead you.
And Godwin slams his hands on the table and gets up and leaves.
Hmm.
Onward, Rian.
The lady grumpily rearranges her marbles as you probably disturbed them a little bit, and then sort of gazes off the
Godwin,
distance.
You'll never believe what I had gotten my hands on this time. You hear him describing it as
Yeah.
they're walking off in the
As they're
distance.
walking away into the distance. Nice.
Fabulous, Rian. Fabulous.
Why did you take it? Well,
It's season 1 of the X-Files.
I took a guard's spear and he doesn't even know.
Yeah, that's right. I took the guard.
Oh,
All right, and Godwin's merry musings are interrupted by the group reaching the edge of the swamp again. Or, well, the swamp continues, obviously, but you've made it to a path that Lionel believes that the 5 of you can once again traverse back up to continue your quest along the mountainside to find the orc encampment. And with everybody ready, and they're resting not really being an option here in the middle of waist-high swamp water, the journey up is luckily a pretty smooth one. No rolls required here. You're able to take your time. You're not under any particular physical duress. Nothing's trying to eat you or anything. All the things that were trying to eat you have been punched and worn as a hat. Or torn, or had a limb torn off it by many. As you reach the top of the mountain, you continue to make your way along the winding side of the mountainside. Seems to go on forever and ever. Hopefully, the orc encampment isn't too far away. But as luck would have it, or unluck, depending on how your characters feel about it, about an hour's more journey along the mountainside, you come to a clearing, a place where one side of the rock face gives way again to sort of an open area. The mountain continues in this area, but it flattens out. Instead of continuing to climb up or climb down, it smooths out for a little bit. And you can see that the most stubborn of trees have even taken root in this particular area and created somewhat of a light wood. But even the trees here can't obscure the fortress in the distance, which flies a familiar flag, that of the orc tribes of this area. You found the encampment at last. And next week, when Ron Side of the Wall returns, we'll be ready for episode 3, The Siege of the Stronghold. Thank you, gentlemen.
Woo!
And thank you, GM.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
what's funny about next week's episode, it's only going to be about 5 minutes, because once we get there, Rick will just melt everything.
Yeah, that's
With
true.
his
I was
laser
gonna say,
power.
Rick is just gonna touch the stonework of the fortress, and it's just gonna shift into the ground.
And then
He's just,
Rick
going, he's just going to
becomes
make
the fortress.
many
Wow.
Ricks.
Huh. Nice. Many little Ricks. Aww.
I'm a Castle Rick!
Nice. Rick becomes the fortress.
Mm.
And that's it. That's the campaign, really, because once you become a fortress, like, you've kind of hit the top, right?
goes
Well,
from
I mean,
fortress.
there's still some places to go. You know, now that you're a giant fortress, you stop melding with the planet beneath you.
That's true. Become the
And now,
planet.
Planet Rick.
You
Planet
become
Rick.
one with the adamant that's inside
That's right.
the planet.
Once you go fortress, you don't go Fortress.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, all I'm gonna say is, if you go fortress, you're gonna be looking for Mortress. Okay.
All right.
Wait, we lost Triss? Where is she?
Oh, no.
We'll see.
Anyways, that's
Fortress.
That was one of my sisters.
That's it for now. We'll see you for episode 3 next time. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed the session, and we'll see you real soon.